Okay, I think I got it. I thought I messed up at first. Anyway, so I was looking at it's kind of slow today. I was like trying to find something to watch. It's not a lot of strange to like not watch, but trying to find something to listen to. And unfortunately, it's not that much to listen to today. Let me see. Chat filter. I don't want to do that. What's plus? What does that do? Start a poll? No, I ain't trying to do none of that. Okay. Yeah, but anyway, so today, let's kick this thing off right. So today is like I'm looking for something to listen to while I work. I tore this kitchen up yesterday again. And so I have to clean it up again. And so ain't nobody really going live today. No real content. I ain't seen nothing interesting. So I was like, hmm. And so one thing I did see, I was seeing the feedback of people. Hey, y'all. I was seeing the feedback of people talking about this Carnival Cruise. It caught my eye, but I didn't think it was, anything pressing. But I think it's funny. It's hilarious. It's hilarious that Carnival Cruises, they said on was it July? No, June 1st. June 1st, apparently, Carnival Cruise sent out a memo, a letter of some sort, saying that they was changing a lot of things. Not a rebranding, but some new policies. I don't know if y'all have heard about them policies. Hey, what's up, Brownsburg? You heard about the Carnival Cruise? The ghetto? Ghetto. It's been ghetto for the longest. Exactly. Yeah, 2017. Man, that might have been when I went. Did you like it though, Bronze? Did you like it? That's the question. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? That doesn't have no judgment. I'm just asking. Did you like it? I went on a cruise one time. I on a Carnival cruise, and I intentionally went on a short cruise, a 2 day, because I was trying it out. I had never been on a cruise before, and the reason why I had never been on a cruise out of all them years, I think I might have went. Let me see. I'm trying to remember. It was like we was over there. I think I went in 2010, something like that. 2010. What'd you say? You said yeah, it was cool. I had no issues. Yeah, same here. I went on the cruise too, and I didn't have no issues. Um, but I knew it kind of wasn't for me, and that's why I hadn't been back. Because in reality, I'm an adventurous traveler. I like to I like to get off, not even get off. I just like to not have time limits, and I want to go with the wind, and I want to see what I can see. I want to have fun and just do what I want to do. I don't like being on a schedule, and cruises are too scheduled for me. So what I did is I took a trip to the Bahamas. I took a quick trip to the Bahamas, and I made sure I got a deal. You know, I didn't spend a whole lot of money, and I didn't want to stay long because I just wanted to try it out, see what does the cruise look like, what does it feel like. Is it fun? Is this something I want to do again? So what I did is I took a two day cruise to the Bahamas with my friend. Okay, and she's a little older than me. She's probably like maybe I would say let me see. She's probably 20 years my senior. And I was a teacher, so I had a lot of friends that were older than me. Well, it's still my friends, but some of my teacher friends, I call them teacher friends, are older than me. I was, the young chick, the young teacher. And so I went with her, and I'll just give my brief experience. I wasn't sure about that seasickness because I kept hearing about seasickness. And I was like, what if I get out there and I'm throwing up the whole time and I'm miserable and I hate it? Because you don't know how stuff will affect your body. And I took something you put behind your ear, and I took an anti-nausea pill or something like that with me. But I was okay. I did feel a little funny, but I guess that's just the nature of being on a boat for a long time. But I didn't have any, bad reaction to it. So I can't say I had a negative experience. Did you get seasick? He said minor fights. What? But it's not that serious. Minor fights. I didn't know they had fights. I didn't know. I didn't see no fights. The cruise I was on, that was in 2010. That might have been before the ghetto got there, before the ghetto caught on. But a couple of things about me, like I said, I don't really like cruises because that was my one and only cruise. It was short. It was to the Bahamas. I think we left from somewhere in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale or something. It wasn't for me because I don't like being on a schedule. I'm a free bird. When I get out of the country, I want to go and I really want to run with the wind. And I'm what you call a no reservations traveler. Me and my husband, we don't make no reservations. We don't get no hotel. We don't book no damn tours. We don't do none of that shit. We get to the airport, we just walk out. We don't do no arrangements for cars and shit like that. We just walk out the goddamn airport and say, "What's up? Where am I going right now? Where am I eat? I don't know. I ain't did none of that. I just get there and see what the fuck gonna happen. That's kind of how I travel. No reservations, literally. I'm a very free flowing traveler. It took me a while to get that way, but I trust my instincts. Anyway, so that's one reason why it won't work for me. I can't be on the schedule. We docked, and then they said on Carnival, you got like 4 hours and come back. Da da da. I was like, 4 hours? What the fuck am I gonna do with 4 hours, man? But it is a bunch of small islands, so it ain't that much to see. If you've been to the Bahamas, you know ain't nothing to see. Ain't nothing to see. Ain't nothing to do. So it wasn't a big deal. But if I had to went to somewhere exciting, and then I gotta hurry up and do some bullshit, they got these excursions. They take you off, charge you $300, $400. I was like, nah. So I realized cruises wasn't for me. But y'all, the ghetto is coming. Anytime something good and fun is happening, it ain't too much longer before the niggas is coming. I'm just telling you. They ruin everything. I'm gonna give y'all three experiences I have had personally about what happens when the niggas come. So you have to learn early on to separate yourself. And how do you do that? You have to separate yourself by proximity, by access. You have to. Because they're coming. Anytime something is real fun, they hear about it. Somebody always brings a cousin. And once the cousin comes, he brings other cousins. And before you know it, it's a whole entire fucking takeover. And these cousins don't know how to act. They don't have no act right. They're not satisfied unless stuff is chaotic. That's the problem. You know? They like to see shit out of order. They don't feel like they had a good time until shit is rough and crazy. And I can't do that. I can't. That's not the energy I'm trying to be in, part of. I'm just not. You said, yeah. So what happened to me was I simply went on that trip and I didn't really have that much fun on the cruise. Uh there was a lot of old white people. They call them snowbirds, right? It's a cheap one, so that's the thing too. Most of these people that's actually doing this, if you look at it, you'll probably find these black folks. I'm gonna get into what they've been doing apparently based on, the response from Carnival Cruise. Most of these black folk, I mean, most of these cruises are short, 2, 3 days, just the weekend. These are working people that's probably taking these cruises. That's the first thing. So short, and that means it's cheap. It's off the coast of Florida. It's not far. That means everybody can fucking afford it, right? Everybody can afford it. So the level of entry or the entry point to this experience is pretty fucking easily accessible to somebody who got $600. That means anybody can come. I'm just saying. And if they live in Florida, it don't mean they don't have to have a flight from nowhere else. If they live in Florida or the close proximity of Georgia, they can just drive. Like me, I can just drive. I actually fly in, but people can just drive. So that's even less money. They don't even need 600. If they having a 2 day cruise to the Bahamas and it's $200, that means anybody who got $200 can get on the goddamn boat. Who lives in Florida, and God knows it's a bunch of whole bunch of ghetto niggas in Florida. So Carnival Cruise. Oh, the other thing I didn't care about with the cruise, I didn't like the fact they had all these Asian, Indonesian, Malaysian people working on the cruise. It felt weird to me. I'm like, I'm on the American Cruise Line, and they got all these skinny, hungry looking ass Asian people, these dark Asians, working on the boat. And they just, they're very respectful and everything, but it just looked too much like a boat slavery. I was like, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I was expecting to see like black and white people on the cruise. And the only people they really had servicing or doing anything that was black or white, from what I could tell on the cruise, was the entertainment. Oh my God, y'all, the entertainment was horrible. My friend had printed out this, we got one of the cheap ass rooms. We got the cheapest room possible. I ain't want to spend a lot of money if I didn't know what it was gonna be like. So me and my friend, me and my friend, we was talking about what we gonna do. And I told her, I said, listen, I'm too free, um, as a person. So what we're gonna do is we just meet up like for dinner every night. And I'll explore around and see what I want to see and do what I want to do. Because sometimes she can be pesky. And so I knew I didn't want to have to be like, like twins, like everything you want to do, I got to do and all that type of shit. And the cruise line, the boat is big enough. But one of the things I saw is they lie with their advertising, the marketing materials. So she brought me one of these things about, ooh, they got bingo, ooh, they got that. I was just thinking like bingo, oh God. Like that's entertainment. Okay. Um, what else did they do? They had like these Grease, a reenactment, a musical play of Grease. Man, it was terrible. All the entertainment was fucking terrible. They had a comedy show, it was terrible. The entertainment was terrible. I went to everything because I wanted to see, the full experience. It was terrible. It looked like 18, 19, 20 year olds, white kids, up there dancing, lip singing to like doo-wop songs, and just it was just corny. Like I think it was like a journey through music. And they were doing like different outfits and they were putting on like rock and roll costumes. I was like, man, this shit is so super corny. This shit is so fucking super corny. I can't. I can't. So I knew then the entertainment stuff. We tried to go to the little club, and the dinner was formal every night. I liked the little dinner. Okay, I liked the little dinner. That dinner experience was kind of cool. It was formal and it was an experience. It was in a very nice like dining area. Most people dressed up, kind of formal dinner. I like that. They had a drink, what you call it, a drink special where you get unlimited drinks. I did not take that on because just the nature of it. Like I don't want to just like, I buy a drink here or there, but this wasn't like no party. This wasn't no wild shit. It was just like, I just want to experience the cruise ship. So I didn't take advantage of no drink special, unlimited drinks. I just bought a drink here or there at the bar. But that club they had sucked. They was playing techno music and they had all this like steam and shit. Like it was supposed to be real hot, but it was like an imitation of a hot club. I was just like, ugh, yeah. Horrible music. Horrible music. And I listen to white music. So if I say that the white music was horrible, that shit was horrible. It was trash. So I wasn't looking for no hip hop music. I used to hang out in a place where they play mostly rock and roll and metal. Like it's called the Georgia Theater in Athens, Georgia. That's my favorite place I used to hang out. I'd be there all night dancing my ass off. I was into grunge and all kind of shit back then. But anyway, the music sucks. So I was like, okay, the club ain't shit. The pool area is cool, But I overall was not impressed with the daily food. I got sick of that damn food. It was like, how can you get sick in 2 days? It was just kind of like it was like a buffet, and it was just like the same old. Mm-mm. The quality of food wasn't there. I was like, yeah, it's the same lunch and the same dinner. So I guess I was tired by day two. I was. So I was like, I'm good. Tried that already, ate that already. Little ragged ass hamburgers and hot dogs were good. Mm-mm. So anyway, long story short, I realized the cruise wasn't for me. It just ain't my style. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't impressing me. I'm sleeping on a twin size bed. I'm used to a king size bed. I'm like, nah, I'm good. But I don't put the cruise down. I don't put it down. But y'all, excuse me, I got sinuses. I decided to. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just get me an antihistamine and stop fighting this shit. I have allergies and I do not want to deal with it. But now I got my skin breaking out because I keep touching squashes and shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and take an antihistamine. My right arm is breaking out because I'm gardening. I'm always in the garden, so this shit is just you know out of control. Anyway, so excuse me if I'm sniffing and snorting and shit. I'm gonna have to just go ahead and take the antihistamine. Allergies are allergies, no matter what I believe. Anyhow, my I was looking like what? So I'm following this story. So what happened is this. I ain't worried because I ain't finna take no damn Carnival Cruise. If I ever take a cruise, I have a cruise I want to take. I want to take a Viking cruise. Actually, the one y'all look in my you look in my what do you call it? My community tab. I already posted the damn cruise I want to take, but I'm not sure if it's that the exact same one, but it's very similar. It goes to Santorini, Greece, and all kind of other places. It's a European cruise. That's the cruise that I want to go. My friend, that's her cruise. She goes on cruises all the time, and her cruises cost about $10,000. She goes on cruises, and she be gone for 2 weeks though. She be gone for a long time. She flies to Europe, gets on her cruise, her $10,000 cruise, plus 10,000 plus. Okay, but I had for the longest time put the Viking cruise on my my what you call it, my vision board. I had that shit up there for the longest time, because they sent me stuff. Carnival harassed the hell out of me. They ain't never stopped sending me stuff. They always send me stuff. I'd be like, man, please, I'll never get on this boat again. It wasn't a bad experience, but I could just tell it ain't for me. It ain't my level. It just ain't. It ain't what I'm looking for. I'm not impressed by it. Let me just say that. I'm not impressed by none of it. I didn't see a lot of different stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't doing nothing for me. So I said after that one time trying it out, man, not doing that again. No money lost, it's no big deal. It's an experience. But I knew it wasn't for me. So anyway, I had the Viking cruise. Was it Viking or Norwegian? I can't remember which one. No, it was Viking. It was Viking. A European cruise line. I had that up there for a long time. Y'all know why I had it up there for a long time? Because that motherfucker is expensive. The one I wanted to do was almost $10,000. So it just sat and sat. God damn it. Fucking allergies. It just sat and sat and sat and sat, you know. And I finally just took the shit off my damn vision board. I ain't forgot about it, but I know I ain't fucking going. Like it's for a long time. It ain't a priority. You see what I'm saying? I can do a lot of travel for $10,000. I'm not like my girlfriend. My girlfriend, she's in a different position in her life. She's in a different situation than me. I have a young child, and she has a grown child. You know, and she got all her shit paid off, including her commercial real estate. So we in different situations. You understand? So with that being said, you got to crawl before you walk, baby. Everything ain't for everybody. Everybody don't have access, and that's something I'm working towards. It's called goals. Those are goals for me, but it ain't right now, and I accept that. I don't mind. It's motivation. I love to be like her. Just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go on this $10,000 cruise. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I'd love to be like that. It's just like I said, it's goals. That's why I have friends. I have some fabulous friends, and I admire them. And I am the least among my friends, but I respect all the different things that they do. They motivate me. Okay, they keep me motivated. They do things I'm not there yet. Okay, and that's good. That's good. Gotta have something to work for in life. Gotta keep goals. It's a good thing. So anyway, on June the 1st, apparently, I'm gonna go down the list. Apparently on June the 1st, Carnival Cruise line, probably the Florida ones, that's my guess. I don't know. They didn't say which cruise lines, but I'm guessing it's that Florida port. It's probably that 2 day, or it could be the Cancun. I don't know. The Texas. It's either Texas, Louisiana, or the Florida line. I'm not sure which one now. I don't know. Don't quote me. But that's my guess. Those are probably the ones that's juking. Okay. And particularly Florida might be the issue because a lot of old white people, They like to go on these cruises, and that that has always been a old white people retired thing to go on a cruise and sit with your old ass crusty ass white husband on the little deck with your dark glasses and your little hat, decrepit and shit, just old, just sitting and toasting in the sun. That's what they've been doing forever. Carnival Cruise Line, as far as I can remember, like the Love Boat and shit, it was always an old white people's thing. That's what American white people look forward to. We get, oh, we're gonna do Carnival cruises every month, or every season. That's what old white people. That's the American dream. Old white people want to go on Carnival cruises, you know, every year. That's their thing. And here come the niggas. The niggas then ruined it apparently. So on June 1st, Carnival Cruise said, "Wait a minute, hold on a goddamn minute. The niggas then showed up, the cousins then came. We gotta do something. We gotta do something." And I'm guessing it's them Florida, what you call it? Them Florida, what they call them? Snowbirds. Them folks that come to Florida. What the hell happened to my scrubber? What the fuck? Oh, there you go. It's them. I think it's them snowbirds that probably started complaining. They probably started putting in, complaints and stuff. Cause see, money is money, and you have to say to yourself, how did you get your cruise line to this point? How did your cruise line get to the point that you got to address what you call ghetto behavior? How did the ghetto come to the Carnival Cruise? How did that happen? Because y'all started making money and y'all didn't care, and y'all let all that shit just happen because you was making money. And think about this: after COVID, you had a lot of old white people who was what? Hiding, scared, afraid. Carnival Cruise went down during COVID. Remember, they had some real PR problems. They actually at one point was giving away cruises. They was like cruises $99. At least the people in Georgia, we got a lot of harassment because we're close by, and they had this whole Georgia Florida deal type thing. Because we could just drive down there and be regular customers. So they definitely was marketing to Georgia people with these cheap ass cruises. Just come on down. We got you. $99 for the weekend, that type of shit. Real cheap. And so that's probably what happened. The snowbirds, the old white people, or whoever old people, they probably quit. They probably quit coming. The numbers was down. And then black folks was like, shit, $99 for the weekend. Hell yeah, I'm gonna give me a drink, an unlimited drink. I'm gonna tear it up. I'm gonna get on the boat. I'm gonna party hard as hell. I'm gonna make it my own. And then you know what happens eventually when it's that cheap, somebody is going to develop what? Somebody at some point is gonna develop party boats. Y'all know what I mean by party boats? That means you have somebody who basically puts out a cruise package, and they collect the money off the top. Yeah, yeah, they brand and market. Yeah, we got 50 spaces, 100 spaces. Basically, they tried to probably buy the boat. That's my guess of how this happened. People was probably buying the boat using maybe air. What do you call it? Travel agents. They probably had travel agents who was buying the boat. And I don't mean the whole boat, but if you have enough groups, you know, organized groups, people who say, hey, we gonna have this theme, yoga or whatever the case may be, or Bhangra, or, whatever, something like, fitness, all kind of different groups coming. And they doing it like as a group collective. This is probably how it happened because it was so cheap. So say if they asking $99 for the weekend or 150 for the weekend, hey, turn that off. Then what happens is that person turn around and say, okay, it's a $400 cruise. Get to the boat. You know what I'm saying? And they making money off of how many people. That's my guess. I don't know. But anyway, June 1st, Carnival decided enough is enough. This is ruining their brand. Now I don't know how many white folks can complain. I don't know who's complaining. I don't know what happened. All we know is they sent out a memo, and it's basically an anti-ghetto memo. So let me tell you what's included in this. They got a curfew because apparently folks must have been bringing their children and letting their children run around while they party hard. I guess I don't know. Family reunions maybe. I'm not sure. But children apparently were in adult spaces and places they shouldn't be. And a lot of people like to be in a child-free environment, and maybe they was in child-free environments. Like sometimes they got a pool that's child-free. They didn't want that, so they said they got a curfew. Anybody 17 and under. So that's one thing. That means folks probably had their little children running around, babysitting themselves, being wild, doing whatever, and that wasn't gonna fly. Next thing they said, you cannot smoke marijuana on here. I said, what? They smoking marijuanas on the damn. They smoking marijuanas on the damn boat. Apparently so. They smoking marijuana, and so they saying basically y'all been getting away with smoking marijuana, but no more. I said, damn, I didn't know it was like that. I didn't smell no marijuana when I was on there. But then again, I don't know. I was doing corny shit. I didn't even. I wasn't even there for a party environment. So next thing is this. Not only they saying no marijuana, they saying they making drink limitations. Because apparently people was getting scummy. Apparently there was people fighting. So they said it had to do with safety concerns. So apparently there was fights and people acting a fool. Basically the ghetto came to the Carnival Cruise. Okay, the ghetto came to the Carnival Cruise. What do you expect when you make it cheap? What do you expect when everybody and their mama can come? What do you expect? I'm just saying, access. So apparently they had to get some new rules and regulations. So the another thing is I never heard of this, but they said something about some kind of fan flapping, making loud noises because of some song. I have no idea what they're talking about, but it must be a fad. Like wobble baby wobble. I guess it's a song like that, like a group song, and people take their fans and clap their fans. So they made a trend. Black folks make trends all the time, and they made a trend out of clapping these fans doing this dance. I'm gonna actually go see if I can find it on YouTube what this clap fan dance is. But they said these clapping sounds, they are banning people from doing a dance with clapping sounds. And some people would say, oh, well, those just basic, rules and regulations. That's how it was supposed to be anyway. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal comes in when we start talking about it has to be a culture they're targeting. Why do I say that? And why are black folks reading it that way? Because they said that they don't want to play hip hop music, and they want people to, and so the clubs are barring hip hop music. Apparently, they're saying wherever they are, whatever DJ, hip hop music is not part of the environment. No hip hop music. Okay, so what is that? What is that? If that ain't a cultural target right there to say we're not playing hip hop music, and not only that, we're gonna ban people from having individual music. So you have like a handheld music, loud music, or personal speaker box. Those are now prohibited. So that way you can't play your ghetto rap music there either. And so they said don't take requests anymore. I think that was an internal memo. They didn't put that on the June 1st. I think that was an internal memo that said do not take requests. Uh, Hip hop music is barred. They're basically trying to rebrand, re-whiten, and black folks is mad. These folks is mad. Now there's probably all kinds of uh what you call it. There's probably all kinds of videos of black folks cutting the fool, cutting the monkey, fighting, all kind of shit. I don't know. I ain't looked yet. Maybe y'all seen it. I don't know. But the back call went out. The back call went out, and so on social media, and also a channel, a publication called The Root. The Root called. It's called The Root. The Root called out the Carnival Cruise, and the Carnival Cruise has since responded because they don't want this to turn into something else. Because somebody, I can't remember, but on social media, somebody put the call out. Maybe we need to boycott. The ghetto said, "Let's boycott fucking Carnival Cruise. Let's boycott. They don't respect our money. We ain't gotta go." And see that they had to think. I hope they thought about that. You see what happened to Target. You see what happened to Target. I hope they thought about that. When they put that out there, they had to know that was going to be taken as offensive to a lot of the ghetto folks that been cutting the food, been smoking weed, been drinking, been doing all the stuff they want to do, turning the boat out. That's a good time to some people. I'm traveling. They can do the Instagram thing. It's a big deal to these folks. Apparently, this little cruise, these little cruises, it must be a big deal to them. They really feel like they've arrived in America. They doing the most. Look at me. You know what I'm saying? So that was going to be read as an insult. They had to know that. I hope they would. You need to run. Corporations need to run stuff past black folks before they put it out, just so they can say, now, what are black folks going to do? What's going to be the response? They need to have a team of people called a Black Folks Sensitivity Team or something like that. Because they always act like they don't understand why we say what we say. Now, I'm not defending it because I don't give a fuck about Carnival. I personally don't care. And I don't care about cruises or going on them. The cruise I want to go on is in Europe. And frankly, to be real, they cruises I can't afford. Okay? Not at this point in my life. These are goals. But the ones I want to go on, I can't fucking afford. And so that goes to the thing of access. Access. See, when everybody has access, you have to expect it to turn to what? Degeneracy. It's only natural. When everybody can afford something, it's just a matter of time before it turns to degeneracy. Because to keep things copacetic, you need a certain amount of balance and decency. And that's why stuff has a price point. One of the things I had started doing before I had my daughter, I started going, I'm getting a little older. I stopped going to the mainstream hangouts and lounges, that I used to frequent. And I started going to more exclusive cigar bars, you know. I started going into a different environment because y'all, I had to. I had to. Because what we had in Atlanta for a period of time when I was in my late 20s, my mid 20s to mid 30s, that's when I was kicking it. Boy, I was kicking. I was going everywhere all the time. I was in all the hot spots. I had my ass in the streets. You hear me? I was a party girl. I was a drinking girl. I was doing the most. I was doing the goddamn most. I stayed in the streets. Very social. Extremely social. It took me a long time to get used to not being like that because I've been like that for so long. But anyway, um, but anyhow, where's my spray? Okay. But anyhow, I'm going into the second scenario. So when the cruise line is that cheap, it's just a matter of time. Everybody got access. It's too easy to access. Just a matter of time before it's gonna go degenerate. Just a matter of time. That's just a rule of thumb. But when I used to be out in these Atlanta streets, I used to have me a good time. Be drunk as a skunk. Oh, I knew everybody. I had a goddamn routine. Places I frequented. See the same folks in the same spots. It was kind of a social routine. With some new shit in there. But I had this one particular area, and what we had during that time, I would like to say is what I would call the what is that music called? What is that damn music called? Soul, like a house soul. It's a house soul vibe kind of crowd. We were the crowd. I would call us the black yuppies, buppies. So there was this buppy crowd in Atlanta. Okay, and a buppy crowd is young black professionals with higher incomes, money to waste and spend, and we either live in the city or in the suburbs, but you know, got disposable income, no children, and we just be living our best life, you know, that type of thing. So I was kind of part of that environment, which is a big environment in Atlanta. It's a big environment, ain't gonna lie. So I was part of that crowd. Everybody's kind of individual, but very similar at the same time. And so those of us who had that, black, black, black yuppie vibe, we all kind of hung out in the same restaurants. And so we had these areas. I learned a long time ago in Atlanta that Buckhead ain't for black folks. Every time black folks would try, and I'm not talking about the yuppies, the black yuppies. I ain't talking about the black yuppies. I'm talking about just regular black folks. Anytime regular black folks would try to go to Buckhead, which is a predominantly white area designed for white people, And it's more like high roller type people. We are everyday black people who are professionals. It's not the same crowd. Your celebrities and people coming from out of town, they want to hang out in Buckhead. Those of us who are, black yuppies, we ain't want to hang out in Buckhead. That ain't the move. We don't want to be around white people. We want to create our own space, listen to our own music. We didn't want to be around white people. So we mostly listen to like neo soul and house music. Jill Scott, Anthony Hamilton, that type of shit. Lauryn Hill, that was the vibe. And we go to house events, house music, dance all night long. So we had all kind of lounges and bars and restaurants that us black yuppies frequented. We had our own vibe, our own culture. And it was cool and it was chill. It was great. And so what happened was we started, expanding the spaces we would go. So most of the spaces we were going were like downtown. So we had a couple of areas in East Atlanta that we would hang out in, like Moreland Avenue. We hung out in this area called Auburn Avenue in Edgewood. And we also had another area we had hung out in, which is newly gentrified, called Peter Street downtown. These were the areas where the young black professional yuppies hung out. And man, y'all, we was having a good time. You hear me? We was having a good time. And it was crazy because we changed the culture around there. So these were restaurants and bars, they started getting fancier. They started having what you call valet. There had never been restaurants with no valet in these areas. These areas used to be real ghetto. And what the money that us black yuppies provided to that environment, and these were all black businesses, mind you. Black businesses played house music, we came. Black businesses opened restaurants with good southern food, we came. We were doing our own Harlem Renaissance shit. Okay? That's just how I can liken it to. It was like we had created our own Harlem Renaissance in these downtown areas. So we had about three different areas, all black owned and operated lounges, bars, clubs, and restaurants. And we would go to all of them, y'all. That's the thing. When I say we was pumping that money in them motherfuckers, them restaurants was open up back to back to back. They was like, we got to get over there. Them niggas spending money. Them professionals spending money. You know what I'm saying? We'll go to the bar. No, we'll start off at the restaurant. That's what happened. We'll start off at the restaurant. We start off at the restaurant and drop $100, $200 on dinner per person. That's how that went. That's good money. When you think about how many is coming through every day, all night, all weekend, unstopped lines, lines and total lines, reservations and lines. We talking about a whole financial economic renaissance for black folks. You're a black business, you open up and where we hang out, you're gonna make some goddamn money, okay? So every table is spending three, four, $500. And people don't sit around for too long because there's more places to go. That's why I said it was like a routine. So you go to the restaurant, you eat, you spend $100, $200 per person. You go to the next spot. So we end up going to the bar, usually to a bar. My favorite one's called church. I used to get toe up in church, boy. Woo wee. So I used to go to church. And I go in there and I have a good time. I be dancing and drinking and dancing and drinking and get halfway stomach. Be done spent $100 on the bar, right? That's how it go. 100 because you buying drinks for other people, not just yourself, clearly, because you pass out if you bought $100 of liquor. But that's what we did. You turn around and you go to the next spot. You go to the lounge. All this shit is in walking distance, y'all. So it was just a habit. Everybody's walking, spending money everywhere they go, and you got a routine. You see some of the same people each time, buddies and friends of yours. It was great. It was amazing. So you go to the restaurant. They got a bar at the restaurant. So now you sit at the lounge. I'm sorry, not the restaurant, not the lounge, but the restaurant. Now you at the, I'm sorry, no, the lounge is at the end. So then you go to the lounge and you sit there and you drink all night long. Spend $100 there, per person. And then maybe you go to some late night, hole in the wall kind of spot, little underground. Man, they had this place called a Speakeasy I love. You have to push the bookshelf open. And that's where the club is, behind the bookshelf. So we had like underground spots that we used to go to, us black yuppies. And so that was one of my favorite places. I go down there and I would. They had one thing. They took a church and they turned the basement of the church into a house music spot. Man, or we have these high level rooftop parties. The whole shit was on the same two streets that are parallel to each other. So it's just black yuppies as far as you can see. Everybody down there spending $200, $300, $400 a night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, blowing money. You got it to blow, you know. I used to waste so much damn money. I didn't even think about it, you know. I didn't even process how much money I was wasting. Boy, if I could get some of that money back, woo wee, spend some money, baby. But that's how we was getting down, all of us. Well dressed, you done got your hair, nails done, you looking nice. You go down, the Edgewood, Auburn Avenue, you walking up and down the street, spending money, meeting people, talking, laughing, chilling, meeting up with other people. I had my bridal shower at one of my favorite places, Cafe del Circa. I had my bridal shower there. All my friends came. It was amazing. It was beautiful. So that was the center. That was the heartbeat of Black Yuppie Atlanta. And it was kind of like a hip hop. No, not it was somewhat hip hop, but it's mostly like um neo soul. It was like a neo soul vibe, neo soul, and because the music is the center, the music, the DJs. So it was neo soul and house music. That was kind of our vibe. Young black professionals, money to spend, da da da. And we never had any fights. We never had disruptions. Nobody was cutting the food. I never saw it all them years. More than 10 years. I never saw anybody have enough nerve. These people are professionals. We're teachers. We're lawyers, doctors. We're not going to act stupid in public like that. That's not going to happen. There's no culture for that. Y'all, the YNs, somebody can fuck around and brought a cousin. Lord, I don't know who brought a cousin, but the cousins got wind that the well dressed Negroes was down the street having a good time. And that is when I had to switch to the suburban cigar lounges. I had to switch it up. All of us dispersed. They literally, the cousins killed that whole neo soul, you know, vibe, the yuppie neo soul vibe that we had going on, that social environment. And my brother that passed away last 2 weeks ago, he was part of that. He was a leader in that. He was one of the hype men for that culture, that young black urban. He claims hip hop and all of that stuff, no doubt. That's part of it. But he definitely brought in that whole musical element. We had this place called MJQ. That's one of the underground spots that we literally you have to go under the ground. We used to go into. He was there all the time. So it was just like a circle, a siphon of all of us. Cafe Apache, Apache Cafe. That was he was there too for a while. And so he was the center entertainment piece to that environment, the black young urban yuppie, you know, of Atlanta. He was part of that. He was central to that as far as the entertainment and the music. This was a music movement. I can't say it enough. It was very much like the Harlem Renaissance. And so losing him was a lot, for Atlanta. It was a lot because he was the center of a whole movement. And I'm thinking in time that would be given some kind of name, because it was definitely artists and artistic people. A lot of people. Philippia, she's one of my friends. She's an artist. I got a whole bunch of different artist friends that have been part of this, and they've gone on to do great things, have albums, and appear in movies and stuff. I don't name drop, so I'll leave it at that. But there's a culture there, similar to the Harlem Renaissance, and I'm sure it'll hit the history books at some point because it all comes together right here in Atlanta. But my point is, the cousins came, and when the cousins came, y'all, they fucked it all the way up. The cousins fucked it up. How and when did it happen? I don't remember the date and time, but there was a coach, a teacher, a professional who was down in Peter Street having a good time, like we always do. I did not know the brother. That was the beginning of the end. Okay, that was the beginning of the end. He was shot and killed by some hood. How and why I don't know. And all I can tell you is that those type of folks when they come around, they be jealous. They be jealous because the entry fee to come into those places, they can't come. They be jealous. The places that we go to have a dress code. So you can't come in with tennis shoes and jeans and hip hop clothes or dress any kind of way. So it made it harder for the hoods to actually participate in this culture. You see what I'm saying? They don't have access. And a lot of them was feeling some kind of way. And we're talking about places that have valet, okay? And that's a deterrence too, believe it or not, because you got people who got raggedy ass cars. Let me tell you something about Atlanta culture. The last thing you want to do, I've seen people do it before. They be sitting there talking about whose car they gonna drive to I've seen people do it. I have seen people do it. They'll be like, let's ride your car. They'll want the friend with the nicer car. That's what they'll say. Let's meet at so and so. Let's park, and then we'll ride in so and so's car because so and so got a nice car. And usually the person that's saying that they car ain't shit. They don't want to drive on their own valet because I always ride my own valet. I don't do no carpooling. But that's one thing that people would do because when you're waiting for your car in valet, I know it sounds mean and judgmental, but in Atlanta, if you're young, black, and professional, don't take no raggedy ass car to the valet. Because when the dinner's over or whatever you doing is over, everybody's standing around waiting on their car from valet. It's a line. And that's what we do. We would laugh. We would laugh and we would pick at people. We would laugh and pick at people who had ugly ass, cheap ass, raggedy ass cars. It wasn't a whole lot of them, but when there was, everybody was talking about it. So it was a culture understanding that unless you got a nice car, you don't need to probably come here or get a valet. You need to park down the street and walk or catch an Uber or something. Don't bring no smoking raggedy ass car in these environments. Snooty as it is, that's just how it was. I'm just being honest. We were cracking, we already drinking, we cracking and laughing, and everybody making jokes and lying about their car. So anybody who had a raggedy car, they didn't heard folks getting laughed at. Look at that old ass Mercedes. You thought you was flossing because you got a Mercedes. That shit old. Shit like that. Real petty, but that's just the culture. So anyway, those were lack of access. Those are the type of things I'm talking about. You lack access. You don't even got a car. You can't get in those kind of environments. Dress code, all kind of stuff. I mean, it was just so ghetto free. It wasn't nobody causing problems. It was just copacetic as fuck, just cool as fuck. Everybody relaxed, you know. And if those kind of folks were to come into the environment, they can't afford the food. They can't afford the lifestyle. So it kept them at bay for a long time. The entrance fee to get into some of these things, the dress code, the valet, it all adds up to no access. So for the longest time, we never had anybody ghetto really try to come. But one thing I can tell you about this yuppie group, it had a whole bunch of women. And when I say a whole bunch of women, let me give you an idea of what that looks like. You go into these bars, lounges, and restaurants that we were frequenting, you're talking about a room full of beautiful, sexy, intelligent, attractive black women with they shit together, okay? Whole rooms full of them. And when I say whole room full of them, I'm talking about for every man that is present, there's probably 12 to 15 women, those type of numbers. And I think that's what made the cousins come. If I'm honest, I think that's what made them come. Despite the fact they didn't really have access, couldn't afford it, couldn't participate in the culture fully, what we started seeing them do was riding down the streets. You could tell from the car, they riding down the streets. And I was like, what is this? What is this? Because that's what, ghetto folks who can't afford to actually buy stuff, buy dinner, rotate restaurants, frequent all of the spots and spend money in all the spots. They can't afford it. So what do they do? And they can't afford valet. What do? They keep riding up and down the street. Then they started walking. Somebody would finally park and they walk up and down the street. So we're like, okay, so there's an invasion of the YNs. They walking up and down the street. They driving up and down the street. They trying to turn this shit into Freaknik. We saw it. We noticed it. And I think the environment was probably frustrating to them. These dudes trying to talk to professional black women who are not at all trying to talk to none of them niggas. And so what we saw, for the most part, was these niggas with lack of access turning up on the black professional dudes. That's what we saw. All these attacks of ghetto niggas was on black men. Okay? Professional black men. All these attacks was on professional black men. It didn't take long for all of us to realize after about 5 ghetto incidents of professional black men being attacked or killed, accosted, and that the culture of degeneracy keeps showing up. It didn't take us long. About 4 or 5 good incidents. They killed it. They killed the whole vibe. So if you go down there now to those places, Edgewood, Auburn Avenue, you're gonna find it's mighty white. It got gentrified. Well, I would say re-gentrified, double gentrified. We gentrified it as black people, pumping money into black businesses. And what they ended up doing is ruining it. So the black folks didn't want to come, these YNs. And so we just left. We quit going. We went other places. I started going to spots in the suburbs where I live, cigar lounges. We out here. Don't got to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't got to worry about it. And I was getting older anyway, so it didn't matter. It was about time anyway. Just chill spots. Just chill spots. But they ruined it, the YNs. So I say this again. If you get nice places to hang out, restaurant, bars, lounges, a whole area, it's just a matter of time before the YNs come. I think everybody remembers um, the Texas guy. He was a chef and he had a really nice spot. It was hot, black owner. And he ended up having a whole bunch of women that decided they wanted to twerk on his furniture, his dining furniture. That shit went viral. He came out of his kitchen and he told all of them, "You ghetto niggas can get out. I don't want your money. I have a brand I'm trying to maintain. Y'all can go. I don't want nobody twerking in here. I don't want nobody standing up in here. I don't need nobody acting stupid in here." That was a black man, and he was standing on business. He said, "I did not create this brand to have a whole bunch of raggedy ass, broke ass niggas." He said, "What do I have to do? Do I have to raise the prices?" Yes, you do, sir. That's right. That's what you got to do. You got to raise the prices so they can't have the point of access, no point of entry. That's what you have to do to these YNs. In order for you to preserve stuff, you have to price these YNs out. You hear me? So if you were selling, he said he was trying to keep his prices decent, but he gonna have to go up on his prices. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's why them YNs in Atlanta never came into the restaurants. They couldn't. They didn't have access. They couldn't afford shit in there. They couldn't afford nothing. So they didn't come inside. They came outside. They harassed everybody from the outside. They didn't have access. And so that's what that dude from Texas needed to do. He needed to take, if he was selling them chicken wings or whatever he was cooking in that kitchen, nice restaurant too, y'all. Nice. The brother invested. I remember it. It went viral. But if he was selling his food for $12.99, brother, double it. Double that shit. That's what you do. I went to a place in Harlem one time, and I hadn't did no real reviews or whatever. And I walked in, and I was like, "Damn, this is supposed to be." It was a black-owned black. It's a black man who was a well-known chef, world-renowned chef. He opened this place in Harlem called the Red Rooster. And everywhere I go, I try to spend my money with black people. I'm very serious about that. I got to spend my money with black people. So I'm in Harlem looking for Red Rooster. I'm not really, worried about, what I'm going to eat. I'm just going to come support the business. That's the whole point. That's the whole purpose. I'm going to support the Red Rooster. And so I'm expecting this whole thing that I'm used to in Atlanta. Coming into this spot, it's owned by a young brother. He's a chef. He's well, world renowned. I'm expecting to walk in. This is going to be a sea of my people, the young black professionals. That's what I'm expecting on a Saturday night in Harlem, New York. That's what I'm thinking. I walk in and I'm like, what the whole fuck is going on? It's all white people in Harlem. I think it's 125th Street. I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember. And I'm like, what the whole fuck is going on? And I look at the menu. I said, oh, that's why. The price point was impressive. This motherfucker had chicken wings for like $28. Just chicken wings, just 10. 28 fucking dollars. I was like, wow. The point of entry in his business was very high. That's why it wasn't no black folks in there. Okay. My black, I got pictures. My black ass was the only one in there. I sat and I drank and I drank and I ordered chicken wing. But he had shit. I'm gonna go back and look at the website now and see what he got on there. But he had some shit on there like, god damn, his menu was expensive. It was very expensive. So anyway, you really do. You got to make sure that you protect your brand. You got to put up all the different barriers so that any and everybody can't just frequent your shit. You know, you got to have dress code. You got to put every barrier you can to keep the YNs out. Because when they come to destroy. You hear me? They come and they destroy everything you built. They come and they screw it up unapologetically. They get into fights, talking shit, acting crazy, publicly loud, all of that stuff, cackling. They ruin your brand. Decent people do not want to be bothered with none of that. People don't want to feel like they're in an environment that can become volatile at any moment. People got too much to live for. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make sure you are YN proof. Because once they come, they literally will destroy everything. And when we all left Auburn Avenue and Edgewood, there was no more. There was no more. We all dispersed, and I think we were getting to that age anyway. Most of us were heading towards, mid to late 30s. So it was, it's kind of like party time to settle down a bit more and get quieter in life, more focused. And that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. So we've had two cigar bars recently open in this area. They look real classy. I had a lounge I used to go to in Roswell, which is North Atlanta, black owned and operated. And I quit going there because there were too many groupies. There's too many groupies. I just want to chill. I don't want to, I'm not trying to dance too hard or nothing like that. I want to hear good music. And I would like to have a drink and just chill, you know. And I'm the type of chick, I always just sit and talk to random uh, professional brothers and have a conversation and go about my business. That's what I do for the most part. If I go to a bar, I sit by myself and then, somebody strike up a conversation, you have a good conversation, light conversation, then you move on. That's it. Simple and plain. It don't take a lot to socialize. And for a while, me and my group of friends, we started going to some wine bars, but then all of us started having babies, so that was cut short. We stopped going to the wine lounges. Yeah, it's something. It just changes. So your social circle and your circle, your regular social engagement, it just changes as you get more settled in life, get kids, get married. I was partying while married. Me and my husband partied together, so it was cool. But yeah, once you get kids, it changes quite a bit. So we used to all go to New Orleans together every year. It's a whole group of us go to New Orleans together. We take road trips together, take wild adventures. Whole group of us, same group of people, group of our social circle, and we've all started. Got married, had kids, and we don't see each other like we used to. But we keep in contact. It's cool. And then some of us started moving. Two of my friends, they moved to California, and one of my husband's friends moved to California. Another one moved to DC. So he works for the government. So we've all kind of dispersed across the United States to some extent with new opportunities. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So anyway, my point is this: I don't know, how should Black people respond? How should they? I mean, as like we're a collective. These are the ghetto folks that care. I mean, should any of us invest in being offended? I don't think so. I wasn't spending no money with Carnival Cruise, so I couldn't be part of the boycott anyway. But I would say Carnival Cruise, they're stupid. What they should have done instead of address all of that is just take the fucking price up. That's your dumb ass. Just take the price all the fucking way up. Then you don't have to worry about them folks. You don't have to worry about them people. All they had to do is say, anybody who wants to drink around the clock, you want an alcohol special, the daily cost of that is $200. $200 per day, unlimited alcohol. That would have cut a lot of people out right there. You didn't have to say nothing about hip hop music. If you're smart, you're thinking about branding and marketing, you're thinking about damage control, you don't have to create damage, dummy. That was the smartest thing they could have done. And people would have found something else to do, some other way to do it. They went somewhere else. But that didn't turn it into a culture war, under Trump. That's not smart. You done fucked your brand up because these niggas is from the boycott. And them old crackers ain't coming back. They're not. Let's just keep it real. They're not. Carnival Cruise is not that fucking impressive. It might impress some ghetto niggas, but it's not that impressive. Old people are bored. That's why they're doing it. To give them something to do, but it's not nice. Carnival Cruise is not the top of the line. It looks like a cheap hotel on the inside. You know what I'm saying? It's not impressive. It's not dazzling. It's not amazing. It's not beautiful. Nothing's gorgeous about it. It's ghetto anyway. Carnival doesn't even know it's ghetto. Your ass is ghetto. Your shit is ghetto. Maybe if you had better quality stuff, better quality entertainment, you could actually, you could get people who got real money to spend. Maybe you step your game up. Maybe you slacking on your Mac, right? Maybe if you had higher quality food, higher quality service, not immigrants that look like slaves running all over the place. Maybe if you served a more better variety of buffet and all kind of other opportunities, good entertainment, have some real fucking entertainment, have some real fucking stuff to do on that damn cruise, have something people can really call culture and get into. But you don't. So you stuck with the ghetto. And so I have a feeling they're gonna destroy their brand. That's what I think. I think they're gonna destroy their brand. I think Black folks who have self respect and self control will absolutely boycott. I do. I think it's gonna happen. I think there's gonna be a boycott. Just as Black folks are resting and not able to respond to Trump directly, I have a feeling that that's gonna become the new thing. The trend for Black folks is boycott everybody for everything. Fuck it, right? Fuck it. Fuck it. Boycott everybody for everything. We can't attack Trump, but we sure can attack some of these goddamn corporations because Target is catching hell, y'all. But I was boycotting Target before any of this shit. I was boycotting Target along with the Christian right, okay, on some conservative shit. Because them children gay outfits blew my mind. Them demonic books for children, that shit blew my mind. That transsexual bathing suit and all of that whole pride at the front of Target. I had a Target card. Do y'all know I had Target card when I was younger? I had that shit on my vision board. I took and cut out a picture of a Target card because I said, when I can finally get a Target card, I feel like I arrived. I had all these little goals, benchmarks of things I wanted to have as part of my culture as a person. I wanted a Target card and I got a Target card. I finally got to a place stability wise where I was like, I can get me a Target card. Because I'm not foolish. I'm not gonna go, especially the way my husband is about credit. He don't even play. He was about to not date me because of my credit. Can you believe that? He asked me for my credit report. And he just looked at it. He was like, I was like, what? He was like, yeah, you need to work on this because in so many words, I'm not finna date no bitch with a bad credit. I'm not finna be with a bitch with bad credit. I'm just being real. I'm just being honest. I was fucking up when I was younger, much younger. So I was like, yeah, I been clean my credit up. They clean my credit up. I'm gonna get me a Target card. I went and got me a Target card. I be walking through. I'm like, yeah, I'm in Target. I'm buying my little shit here, buying my shit there, shopping around. These are the little things you do. These are benchmarks of your life when you meet your goals. I got me a Target card. It went from a vision, a thought, a hope, an imagination, and I actually got me a fucking Target card. You couldn't tell me shit. I think they gave me like a $2,000 limit too. I was like, yeah, I'm going to Target to shop. I'm not saying Target is all that fancy. It's just a part of the culture that at least in my mind. I think a woman should have a Target card. Go in there and spend what I want, buy what I want. This is how I got hooked on Miss Myers. This is that's how I got hooked on this shit right here. Fucking Target card. I go in there, I get my red buggy, I fill that bitch up. I got every flavor, every product. Miss Myers, I got everything. I got the wash soaps, the spray bottles, the smell scents. I got it all, baby. Laundry detergent. I got Miss Myers everything. I walk out that bitch with $200 worth of Miss Myers. You know. So the Target card was a big deal. And when they fucked up, they did that dumb shit. I walked in one day. I said, "Whoa, what's this? What's this gay extravaganza explosion they got in the fucking entrance? What is this?" They didn't went pride crazy. I was. You should see me. I was grabbing my purse. I said, "Oh shit, what is this? It's so confrontational. You forcing it down my throat." And when the white folks got loud, "Oh hell no! Look at this! Look at that!" I was like, "Yeah, look at it." I'm in the back like an echo. "Yeah, look at it. We're boycotting. Yeah, we're boycotting." I was on board, and I'm still on board. I ain't been back since. They even said like you got to look at Target deeper, and I started looking at it deeper. And they have this thing where they won't say boys and girls clothes. They don't have boys and girls clothes. I forgot what they call it, but it's just like I don't even think it say shit no more. I don't think it say nothing. Usually you have a sign above the boys that say boys. Even Walmart got that. Girls, women, men. They didn't have shit. They said notice these things. They said look at the bathroom. The bathroom got men, women, something like half man, half woman image on the back. I looked. I said, oh my god, and in a wheelchair. I said, oh my god, these motherfuckers. This is a whole culture. And the more I listened to it, the more I started watching these videos and stuff about Target. They were talking about stuff like leadership, and they got to hire so many transsexuals, and they got to hire so many gays, and gays have to be like the leader of every this and that. Just too fucking woke. Just too fucking woke. Now I do have to give Target credit. My best friend, she started a multi-million-dollar brand. Target gave that opportunity. Okay, I have to give them credit for that. Her shit luckily went from Target to Walmart and it's international and it's at CVS, it's at Walgreens, it's everywhere you want to be. Any drugstore, they got her shit. It's coochie products. So my best friend got her start from Target. Target gave her and her friend Beatrice, the CEO, they gave them a chance. So, um, right here in Atlanta, I watched them build the empire. I was right there with them. So I give Target that credit. But luckily they branched and moved above and beyond. And so their products are everywhere. So Target's downfall is not going to affect them at all. They did what black folks supposed to do, expand beyond the point of entry. Expand beyond that. Don't ever sit and think you owe your allegiance to just one company. So Tabitha, I think that's her name, Tabitha, she got all them seasonings and different things like that. She's selling like natural, healthy, conscious foods and that type of stuff. She's a fool if she only left her stuff at Target. You should have went beyond Target. You don't ever do that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You should have been in Walmart. You should have been everywhere you could be. Whole Foods. Myers, Kroger, Publix. You should have branched yourself all the fuck the way out. That's your fault that you didn't take your growth to a whole new level. So I'm not feeling bad for none of these black folks. I'm speaking on the Target boycott. And right here in Lithonia, this is Pastor Joel Jamal, was it Jamal Bryant? Joel Bryant, Jamal Bryant, Jamal Bryant. He is running a hard ass boycott against Target. And Target is crying, baby. They crying. They don't know what to do. Black dollars have destroyed, decimated, killed, shrunk Target. Target is closing stores left and right. The black dollar, and I'm one of them. I ain't spending shit. I got four pieces. Let me show y'all what I got left of Miss Myers. This. I ain't had no Miss Myers in so long. This. I used to fill my buggies up at Target. This is all I got left. Target had every kind of brand and smell. This all I got left. This what I got left. That's what I got. Ain't barely none in there. I got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Oh, well, that's empty. That's old. You see what I'm saying? I ain't got shit. I ain't got shit. And that's because Target. I'm boycotting Target. Target got every smell. If you go to Walmart, they ain't got but two smells. You go to Publix, they got two smells. I like all the smells. They got like 20 smells. I used to buy all of them from Target. So I had to give it up and turn it loose. No more money for me, Target. I've been on it for like what 3 years now. So I'm not necessarily part of the black boycott, but I'll just add that shit in because I'm already boycotting. Just add that to the list. It's a black and anti-gay boycott for me. Anti-black and anti-gay boycott. Is it you to add a new one on? I was already boycotting your ass. I can't count for real, you know. But that credit card, I don't spend on it. I could go in there tomorrow and blow $1,000. I ain't. So yeah, I need to probably just I don't even know. I haven't even looked at it. I probably need to just call them and just cancel it. They probably won't close the account because they so goddamn desperate and hope. I need to call and cancel the shit. I don't know if I have. I ain't been in there. I don't know. I ain't even thought about Target. I'm only thinking about Target because it is a Carnival Cruise. Okay, I cleaned my whole kitchen. I'm just standing here now. I cleaned everything. I put everything up, and all I gotta do now is sweep and mop. So I'm about to get off. But my last thoughts is Carnival Cruise, what they should have done. And look at my friend, my beautiful, amazing friend. I put her pictures. She went to a Southern European tour, cost about $10,000. I believe that's the Norwegian. It's either Norwegian or Viking. You know, she don't do Carnival. She don't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? And she takes these beautiful, amazing cruises and these beautiful pictures. And they let them get off the boat for like 2 days, and they actually explore for like the whole day. They don't get no 3 hours and bullshit like that. She gets off and she goes and adventures. She has this beautiful. I had a picture of Santorini. My other friend, the one that has the brand that Target, you know, that Target took on her brand as and endorsed them and got them their start. Um, she and me both had on our vision board Santorini. I still ain't got to Santorini, Greece yet. I still ain't got there. It's not at the top of my list. I'm trying to go to either Iran, Turkey, or Saudi Arabia next. I'm mostly focused on the Middle East. I'm interested in the Middle East. Greece and all that shit, that'll come later. My husband just went to where he went to Italy, Spain, and France, I believe. Italy, France. Yeah, so he's exploring. My husband is at the point where he's exploring South Europe. I'm not there yet. I'm still focused on Middle East, and that's where she's at. She's focused on Europe in general. That's what she does. And Eastern Europe is like at the last of my list. My husband wants to go to Russia so bad. I'm just like, oh. And speaking of cruises, my husband announced to me, what is it, like a month ago? This dude wants to go on a Alaskan. No, no, sorry, not Alaskan. He already went to Alaska. He wants to go on a South. No, not South. What's it called? Antarctica. Antarctica. He wants to go on an Antarctica cruise. I was like, are you kidding me? Why are you kidding me? So that's his next thing to go to Antarctica. He wants to go to the South Pole. South Pole. I was like, wow. He always want to do crazy stuff. But again, you see what I'm saying? The entry point. It probably he gonna be the only black person. That fucking shit is so expensive. He gonna be the only black person on that cruise. I bet you. That cruise to South Pole to Antarctica. He gonna be the only nigga on there. Okay, and that's the thing. The entry point. So I say again, if Carnival Cruise didn't like the culture that was being created, all they had to fucking do, all they had to do was raise the damn price point. 2 day cruises are now $800. And you see how it works out. You see the white folks come back, or all the other family-oriented people, whoever they may be, whatever color, you see them come back. Now you know what to do. Raise your damn price point. I say that all the time. Everything is about access. If you open the doors wide, you give access to everybody. So don't be like, surprised at who the fuck shows up. The entry point is open to all. Raise the bar, and then you will become more selective. You become more selective. That's what you do. So they might need to do that instead of addressing all these things that turn into culture battles. You should have just said, we're renovating, we're rebranding, and we want to provide luxury cruises now, family oriented luxury cruises. That's all they had to do. These people are fucking idiots. Now they've created a firestorm and they've offended these black folk. Just dumb. Did you get a degree in marketing and branding? In business? Where's your MBA? Where's your fucking brain? Why are you so dumb? Did you not think about the fallout and the current situation we have in America with all these cultural wars? You're just dumb. Whoever came up with this bright idea to basically say everything but we hate niggas, you need to be fired because you're about to cost this company a whole lot of money. You're about to cost them everything. You're just stupid. Just stupid. We're rebranding. We want to provide family friendly, safe, luxury cruises to America, a place where families can enjoy. That's all you had to do. And raise the goddamn price. A 2 day fucking trip is $1,000 instead of 200. That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do. You had one job. Anyway, I'm about to mop my floors. I'm about to go. Ashe.